Once upon a time, there was a boy who was always losing his temper and lashing out, hurting people, shouting at people, swearing, but saying vicious things. And his father said to him, look, this is no good. You mustn't do this. What you should try and do instead is every time you feel you've got a temper coming on, I want you to take one of these nails, this handy bag here, and I want you to bang it into this fence, this wooden fence. And so that's what the boy did. He got a hammer, and he banged, and he banged, and he banged, and he banged. Until it's flat into the posts. And oh gosh, that felt so much better. Well, the first day he did this, there were 37 nails in the fence panel. Oh, but it felt so much better. And then the next day, every time he began to lose his temper, another nail into the fence. But do you know, there wasn't quite as many nails. And the third day, and the fourth day, and the fifth day, and the sixth day. And after a while, each day was less and less nails were going into this fence. It was just easier to calm down than to go and get that hammer and go and get a nail. So, eventually, the boy had a whole day, when he didn't bang a nail into that fence. A whole day. Oh, and he went very pleased and up to his dad and said, look, no nails today. And his father came and inspected the fence. And I have to say, it was pretty difficult to find a spot in that fence where there were no nails. There was just nails everywhere. And he said, well done, son, he said. Look at all those times you've held your temper when you felt really angry. And the boy was, oh yes. And now, said his father, for each day that you don't lose your temper, that you don't bang any nails into the fence, why don't you remove just one nail? And so that's what the boy did. He had to get one of a pair of those pliers, pinchers, whatever they are, and he clamped. Oh, and he pulled, and he pulled, and he pulled. Oh, it was so much effort just to get that nail out of the fence. Whew. One nail a day, his dad said. One nail a day for each day he hadn't lost his temper. There were a lot of nails in that fence. But eventually, the boy had pulled out every single one. And he went to his dad and said, look, I haven't lost my temper in all of these days. And his father looked and said, yes, that's very good. But come with me and have a look at this fence. And what do you see? And the little boy looked. And he could see all the places where the nails had gone into the wood. And sometimes the nails had gone all the way through the other side. And his father said, do you think those holes will ever disappear? And little boy said, no. No. That's right, said his father. Because every time you lose your temper, every time you hit that nail into the fence, it leaves a wound that doesn't heal. And isn't it so much better to have a day when you don't lose a temper, where you don't lash out at someone, where you don't swear at them, where you don't say nasty things? Because each time you do that, you leave a wound in someone. And no matter how much you might say sorry, it doesn't take that pain away. And the little boy thought and said, yes, I understand now. And when my uncle told me this story, of course, I was young, didn't quite get it. But I did think about banging those nails into that fence. And I did start to think about the holes it left behind. And I do have to confess that I still do lose my temper. But as soon as I do, I try to catch the words back, but I also leave a hole. And I always try to do better. Try to keep calm. Try to keep relaxed. Be serene. But it is difficult. But I always think of that little boy and the hammer and the nails and the story my uncle told me.